Why, hello there. Let's make sure everything happy. Looks kind of like we are. You can go away. You can go away. You can have some of that. All right. And we'll start thinking about what we're going to do here today. Had a little bit of time to think about what I want to do with this. And I think I may have made a mistake in taking connections out of room data. They're encoded separately in here because of the way we assemble them in the engine. Because in there, we have also the notion of a connection object, but they're not real in the same way. They're not a real tile. They get built and they live in memory. So that we can do things like determine your DCs and all this other stuff, right? But the actual data that matters lives on a room. Setting myself up for success when I took out the list of connection objects in here. But that's going to make it harder to correctly update rooms and to make sure that things don't get messy. And I'm not sure that I like that. This is just like the test is ugly. That's fine. It's a test. It can be kind of ugly. But it's just it feels fragile. But I would have to, if I was to put them back in the sup with you. If I was to put them back into the room struct or class, we would have to reference that to do the update, as opposed to just being able to set it. But okay, so if we roll that train of thought back, if I was to set the change here, I would have to go find the rooms it was attached to, which we don't have the offset stored for. And then we'd have to go change them, because connection data doesn't store a reference to the IDs. It just stores locations, rather. Because if you were to remove or to relocate a room, you wouldn't want these to be still pointing to it. Was the thinking at the time, I think. And it doesn't really matter. They go on to room objects. But if I put them back on room objects, and when we end up marshalling this back to JSON, am I making a game engine to Dart? No, I'm making an editor, a map editor right now. The engine itself is in Go. If I was to put the connections back into the room tiles class, then we can modify them here when we make the changes to a room. The connection data in the tiles that we might still need a table for. What does that look like? If we're thinking about editing a connection tile, we could just store the map for where they live when we go through our room tiles. We do have to still keep the, if we do that, we still have to keep the table for IDs to pull them out. Otherwise, we'd have to keep going through there. We don't want to do that. But if we're editing, what step am I on? There is not really a step. I'm building the editor. We can run it. Oh, I'm still on the test. Run the main, please. There we are. So, I need to put spacing between these, but this is how you edit the rooms in a map. Right now, this is just a test map, so everything's connected. But editing the map this way, much, much better than trying to edit a JSON file. Which is why we're doing this. All right, so if I was to do that, editing, we can look at these actually. Editing these tiles, which they're not clickable yet, is going to need to open up both of these. These guys, if we just look at the struct for the tile itself, or the class rather, it holds a connection object. So we would need that map anyway to know what tile we're modifying when we get to there. We haven't even got to moving those yet. We just finished editing rooms. So I think this becomes a temporary table again that we can just look up while we're loading the map. And then we dump it in favor of one that maps to UUID values for the rooms, I think. And we still need to put them back in there. We can still do this here. but you need to not have map there. So we could do that. Except for we need to call it something else, which is fine. Is it a dungeon generator? No, it's an editor. These are rooms. These are the connections between them. So that you can build a map. UID value. I need to call you. I guess we can call you that for now. I don't really like that name. Let's just go back to the temp table name for now. That's fine. We can rename it later. This is outside of there, right? Yes. Okay. We're going to comment you for a second. Oop, no, I can't do that. Oh yeah, we pulled you out so that we could reuse you. That's fine. We can feed you. Into here. Well, actually, do we even use this? We don't. We don't use that up there. In here, we're solely worried about the rooms. Maybe we can get away with not doing this way. Let's think here really quick. We go through the rooms. We have an offset location. And then if our connection IDs are not empty, yeah. Okay, we can populate this here. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Oop, I need to bring this back temporarily to look at that's just loaded without a UUI. That's okay, that's fine. Oh, except for I don't have this I don't have this data in here. But I can just put it in here instead of doing this call. So yeah, let's put back this. Let's actually call you guess. We put you in here so we can use you down here. We take a look at making sure that the ID saved is in the connection table, and we need to have room model once again. Connections. We initialize you if you're null. Provide that. That way we can build you if we have you for some reason, like when we're updating or something. Okay. And then this guy only exists at the beginning. I think he could actually be final? We'll leave it until we have a reason not to have it be final. Just thinking about it, if we have to make them, I think we're good. Okay. So we make sure that we have you loaded from the file, and then instead of doing this update business here, what we can do is just say add connection data table, connection ID. Can't be null. We just checked you. You need to become that. That can go away. All right. Now, after we do all this business here, we do still need to put you into the map, into the tile, so that you have that data there. So instead of passing it the ID, I'm just going to give it the data. Wait, what are we saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do want to log that still. Well, not really log, but add it to our warnings. Do I want to do that? Is there a better way I can do this that is less of a disaster? Let's see here. And how can we reuse this more? So we won't have the offset location when we come back through to reuse this. We'll have to solve that problem in a minute here, but I think we can just tie in because we're going to save. Oh, speaking of which, I need to do connection table is going to store tile data UUID equals, and then we did UUID value. Oh, but we don't have a room table anymore. Oh, but we could. We could bring back the room table. With a coordinate. And that'll give us our offset without changing any data. Like so, we need to make sure that we clear you when we load. Like so. Oops. Like so. So this is, or not that, but wait. You were mapped to, okay, UUID to UUID. I did this the wrong way around. Yeah. Can't be null here because we already checked you. Right? Didn't we? Tile data. We did not check you. Thought there was a thing I could do there for that. So if you are null, we need to throw the exception. Or do we add? Yeah, because this is very, very bad. I guess we can do that. Has no UUID. Can't be. Not be loaded. That's probably all right. Because that's not a warning. That's a hard error. Okay. So that can't be null. And then this is That's removed from tile data in that case. Connection ID. Yeah, I need that one to be that. This is just IDs. Okay. And then also, after we do all of that, the last thing we want to do... Actually, no. We can do this here. Just so it's easier to catch when we have to be reading again. We say that the room table at... Oh, I need to check my UUID up here. Oh, no, I'm good. Yeah. I'll put you at the top where you belong. This is... offset location X. This is the X of this coordinate. Like so. You can't be null at that point. Okay. So now we know where in the actual generated map you live. And then we know what ID to go look for when we're looking at a connection. All right. We need to replace these guys. Oops, didn't grab all of it. These. Oops. These. Okay. That. Okay. And now we need to look at the earth connections, this connection. That's fine. Let's not give you this. It'd be more convenient here, but oh, also down here we need to do that. I want to do this instead. This is just becoming painful. I'm going to say that needs to be nullable because it is nullable. And then if that's null, then I can do that. Can do that. This becomes easier to work with because I can then say this connection, we've already null checked you, tidies that up. Okay. And then in here, We can look this up regardless of what kind of tile this is. It's going to be room table at this connection origin. Oh no, I don't have the ID in here. Damn it. But I do have... Alright, so here we're going to use both of the tables. Connection table. This connection's UUID. That's going to give us the room ID, room table at this room ID dot just that. And then you can't be null either. So we probably need to check that and say if this is null, it's an argument error, and we'll say able to update connection tile UID is null. And then we're going to do this instead. So now we've null checked you. And we've done that. And we're going to say if... We're going to remember to put a parens around here. If this is null, we're going to throw an argument error. And say parent room tile ID. This is going to be... Ugh, I need to break this out. That's fine. Wait, hang on. Am I backwards again in my head? We get this. We get that. No, I can't check that. Well, hang on. This is backwards too. Because this is the room ID. Got myself all confuzzled. We have a connection object. Connection object, or connection table. Yeah, that gets us parent ID. Okay. We need to write this out in a way that's easier to follow. Wrong one. All right. So parent ID is connection table. This connection, UUID. Can't be null. We just checked that. Okay. Here we go. Parent ID is null. We got trubs. can keep an argument error. That's probably fine still. And we'll say parent ID for connection ID needs squirrely braces. Not in connection table. Okay. Now, this will pull out the coordinates, the offset. Okay. And then, down too far again. This isn't the parent ID. Or parent offset location. Okay, yes. Parent room tile ID of parent ID, which can't be null. We just checked you. I don't need interpolation there. Not in room table. Okay. If all of that is good, then we should have a valid location, right? Meow. For parent offset. And we should be completely okay. All right. Now. Removing, on the other hand, is a little different now. Actually, we could do a helper here because we're going to want to reuse this. If all that is good, we return that. And then this. Goes in there. Okay. Nice. Love that. And I think this class is getting huge, but kind of just need it. I'm going to scooch this up. No, I'm going to scooch this down. We're going to put some stuff down here. Because I want this I want to pull these guys out. Because we've doubled them here, which I don't particularly like. And I think we can pull out basically all of this. And we can call you something more like... Actually, let's return set connection tile data. All of this goes in here. So we need to pass in except for actually this. What does vector 2 return again? I think it's a coordinate, but I could be mistaken. It is a coordinate. So this needs to take and then a nullable connection data. Okay. If I do that, I can initialize a new string here, string list. This just becomes a switch on target vector. Con data. Except for then I can't get my ID. But actually, I don't need a whole list. Because this only takes down one path. So I can actually just return this string that I build here. We can change this. It's a horribly long, miserable string anyway. We can say, well, we really want to say. We really want to say that target vector from parent offset location is not a vertical tile. Unable update. And really, we don't even need to do this. We can make this a void. Because we can just make this an exception. And then we can catch it. Okay. This we need to replace everywhere with con data. Like so. And then this everywhere is just going to get replaced with this, except for this would be diagonal because it is on the diagonal. This would be horizontal. Diagonal. That's vertical. Diagonal. Horizontal. Diagonal. Okay. And I have accrued an extra closing brace there somewhere. Okay. We'll get to you in a minute. Get to you in a minute as well. All of this gets replaced with a try of what did I call you? Set connection tile data. That's what I called you. Set connection tile data. Target vector not dot, just this connection. Origin vector to connection destination. This is parent offset location, and then this is this connection in this case. And then I gotta remember yes, okay. And then we're going to throw it again as an exception and say unable to update connection tile data with the exception like so. That'll replace all of this. Beautiful. Much nicer to work with. This is going to end up looking very much the same. This needs connection data instead of the ID now. Like so. Did I typo something? What? I think you're lying to me. Okay, I'm thinking it's lying. Anyway, that'll take care of that. Yeah, there it goes. Now it updates. And then this will become the same kind of block, except true. Try set connection tile data. This is still this connection origin vector 2. This connection destination. Could probably clean that up a little bit too. Parent offset location, and then this is null explicitly. So we do a catch here, throw the exception, able to delete connection tile data. I should actually probably also throw in here ID of the UUID. I need squirrely braces though. Like so. And then that will get rid of all this, which will make this whole thing a lot better. This is no longer going to remove that, though. Because connection table... Actually, that's correct still. Like so. And... map at y is our parent. As room data connection, no, not connections. Yeah, connections. We remove this connection to clean you up off of the room that you used to live on. Okay. Now, get connection from an ID. Is anybody actually using you? We do. Crap. But we don't need to. Because we now have we can just go for connection data in selected tile. Why can I not? Connections. Is it because... Oh, that. You're not nullable though, are you? No. Oh, because we've done that. Oh, select it. Okay. There we go. We still need to clone that. Like so. That'll replace this. Okay. And I need to also double check. I don't care about this anymore. But I do want connections. 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 That. In my clone. Helper. Okay. I'm gonna break a lot of tests with this, I think, but that's okay. Done with that for now. I feel much better about how this is all factoring out. Okay, so we have get connection type. Wait, now nobody's using you now, right? That's what I was doing. A test is using you. Okay. We'll fix that later because you're going away. I'm not going to update you if we're not going to need you, which I don't think we do anymore. I might regret that, but such is the way. Now, when we go in here to update our tile, update room, we pull you out of the map, we make sure that you're correct. This we just need to do this now. We don't care about the IDs. That. We do the same thing here for the other way around. Connections contains con data. It's a new ID. There we go. Otherwise, update connection tile, con data. This is now just a connection. And then the load warnings we still need. There. Okay. That's a big refactor. Let's see how much stuff I broke, huh? That should all be peach keen now. Now it's just the map controller test that's all busted. Conveniently, we're here. I don't think fixing the compilation errors is going to completely fix the test, but it's where we're going to start. What uses the connections at all anymore? The IDs. I think it's just you. Yeah. So it's you, so we still need to have you in there. We could, after we do this, we can call clear on you to empty that out. That would be a-okay with me. Can I go clear on a map? I can. Let's do that. It's easier to read. Okay. Now, back to what I was doing here. Connection added. We don't need to get that. This is now connections. We can just get last here. This should sure not be null. Wait, is that not? Not a function. There we go. That's what I was doing wrong. That just needs that. Wait. Oh, it needs parent offset, which is the... Wait, no, I don't need that. I just need this connection, because I get the parent offset. There we go. Much, much easier. Okay. Target origin. This. You can get the Wait, no, hang on. Hang on. What was I doing here? Target connection origin. Let's actually rename this to origin coordinate, because that's the one we get. Right? Oh, no, no. This is parent. Okay, that's fine. Because that's the map tile, the room tile it actually lives on. This we can still do better. Target connection origin. Well, no, that's backwards. I do still need to do this because we don't have the ID. I think I've done this right. This is actually going to be the origin just because of the way it works, but parent is more descriptive. We're going to leave this alone. It should be getting the correct rooms. It's ugly, but it's fine. And I don't think we're going to need to do that a ton, so we're just going to leave it. The other thing... So we're adding the connection here. We don't need to add this anymore. We do want to make sure when we update the room, if it's a new ID, update connection tile, put the data in there. And this is actually where we should say... No, we've already got you in there. We need to do that before. Update room. We do that. This is... Wait, actually, hang on. This is no longer an error here. If it's not in there, it's a new ID. You're attached to that now. Right? Am I doing that right? It's the parent ID, yes. And then we do that, and then we put that into the map itself. Okay. Now, new connection data. We remove you from our destination and origin. We removed you from the controller as part of remove. We do remove that. Okay. We remove you from there as well. Oh, hey, Terrace. I got totally sucked in and missed you there. And hello there, Cytocron. I'm working on a map editor. This guy right here. How's everybody doing? How is... Is there more? Is it Dart 5 / Flutter? It's okay. It's okay. My finger. What about your finger? Awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, so I got derailed. I think my finger is injured, so I'm not used to type. Gotcha. What did you do? Why did you do? Stop that. Don't injure your fingers. How am I? I'm doing all right. How about you? Heat. Gotcha. Okay. I was trying to figure out what I was doing with my life. Okay, here we go. All right, so we have a new connection. This needs to go into... We already took... Oh, no, we didn't take you out. So we grab that, and this is new connection. But this is connections. This is connections. This is connections. This is connection data. Now. Heat from cooking. Aha. The old Bernie Burnation. Now my hands think into space. Gotcha. Well, I hope your hands recover soon. That sounds incredibly uncomfortable. Okay, so then we have our updated room data. We update you. And we make sure that this didn't change, this didn't change, this gets updated, this gets updated, this gets updated. We need to check connections. And in fact, everywhere that it says connection IDs, connections, if I spell it correctly, and that's going to break some stuff, but that's fine. It's going to help us find the things. That I applied remedy prematurely, so I should be good. Gotcha. Excellent. This is connection data. That's connection data now. This is connection data, and this is no longer that. This should also be that. All right. That good. And I think, actually, we might be cooking with gas. My wife gets those kind of injuries often, so we know how to deal with them. Gotcha. Okay. So I've got something in here that's still looking at IDs. This one right here. I was doing a lot of Flutter last month. What were you building? Learned a lot. Excellent. I have mixed feelings about Flutter in general. A lot of it is just my aversion to front-end stuff in general. I just don't like the way front-end stuff works. It's partially skill issues and partially just I don't think in that way because I'm a back-end guy. But every time I'm like, I feel like Flutter's getting in my way, I go and I just check and see what like it would look like in React or Svelte or something like that, and it turns out it's all the same problems and they all suck. And it's just front end hard. So like what got me into Dart? I was using Cogent, which was it's all Go. It is still all Go, and it's kind of Flutter-ish. It's influenced by Flutter and some other things. But every time it's still an early day project, and every time they updated something, I would update to fix bugs that I was having, and I would find new bugs, and I was just like, all right, I need something more mature. And I didn't want to do an Electron app. I didn't want to do JavaScripty, Reacty stuff. So Dart became the answer. And Flutter became the answer, and Dart by that. Let's see, AI research tool for private use in monorepo hub external project. Wrote my own Dart UI DI library. Cool. Rip out that DirectX. Yeah, I'm a Linux user, so no. Yeah, I would have to learn Vulkan. But that I want to be able to build cross-platform easily. And then I would have to go learn Vulkan, and this seemed less work. I'm not a graphics programmer or a game developer, so Vulkan is cross-platform, yes. But how easily does it build cross-platform? Do you have to enter makefile hell and Clang and all this other nonsense? Also a Swift-based Flutter-like framework. Gotcha. Swift is Apple stuff, though, right? Or am I mistaken? Am I thinking of something else? I get around that mostly with Rust. Well, I don't know why, but I seem to just attract Rust viewers. So you're in good company in this community. Gives you access to low-level graphics APIs. Yeah, then I'd have to become a graphics programmer, and I'm really bad at math. You might have noticed. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. I was looking at... Okay, so connections length is supposed to be the same. But I expected this. 716. Oh, because this is no longer that. Not gonna lie, there aren't many options on Twitch for C++ or Rust here. Yes, that is true. There's not a lot of, like, non-game engine-y work going on in here. There's some of us. Sense of connection data, which is not a... Hang on. Ah. That's why. I went through here. Okay. What was I doing? What was I testing? If it's a room data tile, okay. This is our testing of the loaded stuff. Connections, add, ID. Well, that shouldn't even... How was that even working? Did I make a stringer for that? Oh, no, because... Okay, yeah. I'm checking against the raw data here. So we're going to leave that. We're going to leave that. Because this is loaded from the file. So we're making sure by reading the raw file data, or the raw JSON strings, that we got the correct things. This connections length, this tile connections I dot UUID. We want to check the ID against the connections list we assembled from the file. Am I mistaken here? Connections at I, UUID. Oh. I didn't string it. Duh. There we go. Okay. Meow. Concurrent modification. So... Why would you be concurrently modifying that? That is not... That is not what you should be doing. There should only be one difference in this file, in theory. Or not file, but in this room. Connection added, deleted. Connection deleted. What we can do here we'll add you to the list, and then if you're greater than 0, and we just say is not empty, right? Yeah. Then we can say I guess we can skip this. This will just be nothing if there's nothing. What did I call you? Remove that. And then we probably need to do the same thing here. Build a list of things we need to update. We add you, and then all of this there, like so. Give that a little shot, because this should be doing, yeah. Added was doing the same thing. This other one, we do have a different error. Bum, 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 bum. That needs to be that. Okay. There. All right. So, insofar as our tests are concerned, we have done correctly here. At least for what we have coverage for. And I feel much more confident unless, of course, I have messed that up. Let's find out. Okay, perfect. All right, so get that. Controller, room model, controller, room model, the test, and map editor. Oh yeah, because we had to change that up. Okay. I think that all makes sense. We're going to put Ada back in the rooms. All right. That was a detour that probably didn't need to happen, but you know, past me made poor decisions, as is often the case when I have trubs. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to run main again, just to make sure everything gets nice and cleanly launched. Okay. And we still have all of our everythings here. And I think we were trying to get applying to actually apply. I didn't check which one I changed, but it won't matter because it doesn't save anything yet. So 3, 2. Yeah, it's not actually saving it. Okay, that's fine. Resetting is working though. And delete also does nothing yet. Okay. That's fine and dandy. That's where we were headed. Set selected tile does all that. Save tile changes. I thought I had this wired up. Am I confused? It's actually going to be over here. Unsaved changes. Fresh. Apply. Oh, apply isn't even wired up yet. Okay. We were working on that. I swear I wired this up, though. Maybe it was one of the things we were exploring and I chucked it. Either way. So we have selected tile as a thing right here in our state. And map pane has a map state in it. Where are you being used? Can I get away with... just doing you... I wouldn't even need to do it in there. Can I get away with that, or are you going to freak out? Might be able to... No? Even though we... Oh, because you're outside the widget tree when I do that. Gotcha. That's why we put you down here. Why are you outside the wizard tree when I do that, though? Oh. No, I don't know why that is. Because of the cell builder. Because we register the callbacks, that's why. So we need to pull you in. It's a little funky, but I'll go with it. Hey, again, back for a bit. Hey, Tomato, how's it going? When do you think the engine will be out for testing? No idea. Step 1, build basics of engine. Right now, I mean, you know, the editor rebuild is a chunky task. And I have like 2 hours a day to work on this, right? So, the big thing that we need to do next is support multiple maps. Right now, there's only one map in the engine, and the editor only supports one map. We need to support and have a decent UI for connecting maps, because like an overmap and like a city map need to be 2 different maps. You can't just put everything into one, I don't think. I don't think we want to. So that needs to be like the next task, or it's either that or I build a proper test map, because right now the map is just a lump, right? Just for this. So I could do a test map that is actually like a real map, and do like NPC stuff or something. Either way, the kind of the 2 big tasks left are multiple maps and NPCs, because we need to have something to hit with our rusty nail through the board, right? And at that point, I'll start working on figuring out what the game I want to make with this engine looks like, and we'll let the game start to dictate features that need to be added, right? So like the past basically year, I've built the editor twice, my own fault, but has just been getting the foundation work into place and learning how to write a game engine. And we'll start assembling the game. And then there's other little like bits and pieces that we need to do. We need to figure out an auth system. Right now it's just a basic password. That needs to be real. And then registration and stuff like that needs to be a little bit better than it is now. It's very much a placeholder. And then it'll be ready to abuse. Build a game, extract an engine from it, kind of, yeah. Like I've got what I think is hopefully a decent foundation to build the game on top of, to then extract an engine. But that's kind of part of why we're building an editor, is that the idea is that you can get a long way without writing any code, right? We have, you can edit status effects, and you can edit your skills and attributes for your game, and all this other stuff, right? And some of this is, I'm sure, not right, but we won't know until we start trying to use it. We needed something to start consuming. Code is king, right? Well, yes and no. I mean, code is king, but like, I don't want to edit these JSON files by hand. And the idea being that as long as you're okay with the default behaviors that you can configure, which a lot of them are really easy to do. You know, like status effects, right? It's JSON files that can be loaded. As long as you're okay with that, you don't need to code to do game things. And then once I have everything I've needed to build along the way, any updates to the game, the editor can help with. Okay, anywho, as I was saying, I need to wire this up. That's what I need to do. So we have a selected tile. So we also have a map controller. In here we do. Update tile. I need to make update connection tile. Hang on, before I do this. This needs to be set private. Oops. If I could type today, my life would be easier. This needs to be private. Update tile needs to be public, and we're going to put you up top here. I've been bad about organizing this file. I usually put my public stuff up top. Load map is public. Update connection tile is private. That's right. Remove connection tile should be private. Why would you be in? Oh, because you're not. That is going to bite me, huh? That shouldn't be a UUID either. Why aren't you guys showing up over here as yellow? You're Spoda. All that, Before I change anything else, let me run this really quick, make sure that didn't break anything. Okay, good. Didn't think so, but yeah. Okay, you. You really should be private. That's going to make my life difficult here. I just don't want to accidentally shoot myself in the foot, basically, later. This isn't really a connection tile, though. Well, yeah, it is. Because we set the data. I guess... we remove you manually from there. We don't know... Well, actually, we could do... Okay. We can do... Okay. Coordinate... target tile. Not that. Test controller. Room table. Target tile. UUID, which can't be null. And this also can't be null because we know it loads correctly. Now, we can also get the vector. We can get that. Origin, vector 2, target connection, destination. Now, we can say, and if this is 0, 0, we put, ooh, we don't know the, we don't know what you're going to be. We can get its tile. That's not a problem. We can also get this is the target tile location plus the connection vector. The X, the Y, right there. So we've pulled our connection tile out. We need to say we don't know what kind of tile you are, though. You're an object. I guess we could say we can switch on the vector, just like we did over here. And we can clear out that. I think this is correct. And it sucks to re-implement this. But without exposing things that shouldn't be, is there anything that I could... like live with myself if I exposed here? I don't think there is. And it's only for this one test because we don't really need to do a ton of this. Thank goodness. I'm going to keep the same pattern just to keep myself on track here. Do you not have... oh. All right, so north, northeast, east, horizontal, with a capital, east, southeast, diagonal, south, south, west, 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 northwest, northwest. Okay. North, northeast, east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest. Yes. Northwest. Spell that correctly, it'll help. And then I can ditch that. And my test should all still be passing. Okay, good. What? I think I clicked twice on that. Okay, yeah. Okay. What else needs to come and be internal here? That for sure stays internal. Initialize map should be private. That's private. That's private. I want you to use update tile. You can use load map to give me a thing. Everything else lives inside. Okay. Controller test, controller. Make things that should be private. private fix tests relied on those things. Okay. And now when I go back to my map editor here and I say controller dot update tile. It's the only one. I have helped myself to stay on track. Selected tile. Can't be null. I guess I could guard it. Just to be sure. You're still gonna make me do that? Okay. Then I don't need to loop. It's fixed. It's all handled inside there. And then I need to say if I reselect it, that will make sure that it grabs that new data. And I need to also notify listeners. It shouldn't need to because it should be over here, but it's fine. It'll ensure things stay. Okay, so if I go into 2.2 and I just say that the name is now foo, I forgot to wire that up. We're done in there for now. I actually want to be in my tile data. Here you are. Oh no, tile data does not have... Really? No, you got maps data in you, yeah. Da 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 da. Blah. Save tile changes. That's what I called you. Save tile changes, and we should have... Wait. This needs to be... Oh, no, we just need to call you. Ooh, except for our form... Because we're using state, because we needed to lift that state up. We're not state, but provider. We have that. Where's my unsafe changes over top of that? Row. Tile data. scroll view. Oh, okay, yeah. We clone you here to... Okay. So, yeah. Well, where does that widget live, though? This runs off of the clone. That's good. It's in the scroll view. Child room. Okay, room data form. And you just directly write... Do validation. Ooh, except for we don't do that because... And you also aren't yet. Okay. How was I thinking I was going to wire that together? Why did I do it that way? What was I planning? We did it this way because this needs to work for connection tiles as well. That's why we did it that way. But room data form. I need to store... Because the UI, the button lives out here, as it should. I would need to store... Am I crazy or... You need to give me... I need to call validation on you. Um, how was I planning on doing that? Because I can give it a callback, but I want to trigger it from out here. Hmm. And I don't think I can validate from out here. What was I thinking? Can I use the form state? Can I lift form state up? Yeah, I would. Might be able to do that. Where was the ba 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 da ba ba? Validate. I can. Okay. So what we're gonna do up here. Actually, I need. Yeah, I can do a global key for this. Like so. The form here. That's required. If that goes away, we use the one that's passed in. Okay. Widget form key. Okay. Now, you... Did I call you form state or am I crazy? I am. Form key. Now, when I do this... Current state can't be null. Validate. Why aren't you showing up as an option? Form key, current state. Do I need to say that? Probably. Okay, so hopefully do a nice clean up there. And I think we just make sure currently that, yeah, fields can't be empty. So if I come into 2.1 and delete that, okay, it does do invalid. Okay, all right. And if I rename you to foo in 2.1, boop, that gets done. Didn't get saved though. Should be getting saved though. As part of my map state when I do this, oops, I should also be doing what are you? Your unsaved changes, tile changes, false. Okay. So why is that not applying? Oh, because I have... Because I have errors firing that I wasn't paying attention to. Vertical connection tile model is not a subtype of room data in typecast. Okay, why did you get a non... Tile to update. Selected tile. Can actually do clear here. What's going on here? You're displaying correctly. Instance of room data, instance of room data, instance of room. Okay. What? Instance of room data. Okay. So it's not an error here. It's an error in my update somewhere. So we're going to leave it to do because it's getting late and I'm getting tired. Boop. And we're going to call it there for today. But thank you to everybody who showed up to hang out. It was good to see those of you who I've seen before. Good to meet those of you who are new. If you like this kind of thing, I do it for about 2 hours a night, 4 days a week, starting on Friday and ending on Monday. So come on back tomorrow at around about 8 p.m. Central Time. I'll be doing more of this again. And I'd love to see you. And if not, you guys have yourselves a great weekend anyway, and I will catch you some other time.